Hello, Redditors, and welcome to Hall R, the exclusive post-panel AMA for Terminator Dark Fate. Live from San Diego, streaming right here on Reddit. I'm your host with the Challah French Toast, Scott Rogowski, and I am thrilled to be part of this historic live event for a historic cinematic franchise. Terminator, you guys know Terminator, right? 1984, the original, about the time-traveling cyborg assassin sent to kill the mother of the future leader of the human resistance. And then T2, Judgment Day, 1991, the bad Terminator becomes the good guy. And then there are like 17 other movies since then, but those don't count really, okay? This is the real deal. The official threequel from T2 with James Cameron. Yeah, the creator of the series and the character. He's back. Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, she's back. And it wouldn't be a Terminator movie without Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's back, of course. Some fresh new faces to round it out and get you excited. And a new director who you might know from a movie called Deadpool. If you're not one of the 20 million people who have watched the trailer for Dark Fate, let's get you caught up to speed right now. Roll it.
2 days ago, I had this nice, simple life. And now it's a nightmare.
If travel is searching and home has been found, I'm not stopping.
Who are you?
My name is Sarah Connor. Never seen one like you before. Almost human.
I am human. Why do you care what happens to her?
Because I was her.
How do we win?
We win by keeping you alive.
I'm going hunting.
I'm shook. That was amazing. This is not just me, by the way, okay? This is you asking questions to the cast and director, who we have joining us today. Look at this. From left to right, Diego Boneta, who plays Miguel. Right? No. Oh, you play Diego?
Diego plays Diego.
Diego plays Diego?
He also played Luis Miguel. That's why Miguel.
that's maybe
whatever.
Oh, I got thrown off.
Yeah.
I got thrown off. Well, you're the brother.
Exactly.
That's all we need to know. Gabriel Luna, you're Rev 9, the new Terminator, right? Remind me of your name, sir. That's that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Chris Pratt's father-in-law? Is that? That's...
Oh, that's cold, man.
Yes.
Yes. He's back. The Governor. Linda Hamilton, of course. Sarah Connor.
Yep. Hello.
Hello. Natalia Reyes.
Hey.
You are maybe the new Sarah Connor in a way. Is that? I don't want to give too much away here.
Danny Ramos.
Danny Ramos.
Still.
Yes, Danny Ramos.
We'll see.
We'll see. And Tim Miller, director.
Directing department, yes.
Director department. And Mackenzie Davis playing Grace.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us who Grace is a little bit?
Grace is a pal from the future that comes back to protect Danny Ramos for reasons that remain unclear.
Remain unclear. And we're not going to spoil anything here, but we want you to ask questions of our incredible cast and director here. And we'll kick it off with question one. Posh Lagoon wants to know, what aspect of the original films are you most determined to incorporate into the new ones? I guess we can have Tim
Want me to
maybe
start
start
out?
this. Yeah.
Well, aside from continuing the story of the original characters, as a director, I think the thing I most admire about Jim's movies are the pace. And that really manifests itself in a lot of character building up front before the action starts. So when the shit hits the fan, you actually care about the characters and what happens to them. So Jim's movie have this curve, this bell curve to them that once it starts late in the second act, it just doesn't stop. And I think you'll see that in this one. It just continues. The action continues to build and the stakes get bigger.
And you're also
until
carrying
then.
over the R rating.
Yes, I couldn't be happier about
Right.
that. I couldn't be happier about that.
That-
Even without all the blood and swearing, this is an R-rated movie. The tone of it is very grim.
And that panel was R rated as well. I caught that.
Yeah, Arnold's got a filthy mouth. It's shameful. Shameful, really.
I guess we'll toss this one to Linda from T-Walk Z. Seeing Sarah Connor step back out of the truck was an awesome scene. What was the most fun thing to revisit for any of you who came back after a long time? And it's been a long time.
Oh yeah, 27 years. You know, fun. What fun?
Funny-ish.
Fun. What funny-ish? You know, it's just fun to revisit a character 27 years later and see where she's at and where she's not at. You know, to make those discoveries. But I love the weapons. I love the stunts more than ever. I mean, it's ridiculous. They just have to go, stop smiling when, you know, they're dragging me across the floor. And I mean, I really love doing that stuff.
You love guns, as Tim was saying in the panel.
love guns.
You had the smile on your face, and we had to do multiple takes to.
She loves the stunts, too. She wants to get in and do every one of them.
Without the stunt pads. I mean, I'm just like old school, kind of like, well, because the pads will make you look fat. That's what we thought, so that's what I think. Until the day you're like, oh man, they're right. I really need pads. So I have a lot to learn from the younger ones. But really just great to be with my old pal Arnold.
Yeah.
Never felt happier to see anybody. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. And madly in love with the three in the front. This lady and that lady got me through. Tim guided us a little bit. He, you know.
We tried.
There's only so much I can do.
Or that he had to do. 'Cause we're just all fantastic.
I'm there to give advice. That's really what
We
that
helped him a
direction.
lot.
Yeah.
No, it was a fantastic experience. I've never walked away from a movie feeling so much in love with everyone in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chairs.
No, that came across in the panel. It's a very emotional panel to watch, frankly, and there is so much love here, and I think it's going to contribute to the quality of the film, because you have to have a certain element of that emotion, right, as you're bringing it to the screen. And speaking of the other movies in the franchise, this one's for Arnold here. Will the movie be as terrible as the last one? This is a question from Rhino2150. That's a nice question. That's very
We can only
respectful.
hope.
First of all, let me just say that I want to welcome the rest of the cast to become Redditors, because I think I'm the only official Redditor here.
Yeah.
And so it's great to have the rest of the cast join me here. And also, of course, Tim, our great director.
Thank you,
and
Arnold.
the man that was an extraordinary person to work with, and that we all loved him because he was not only good in directing action, but he was great in directing actors, and those are the visual effects and the whole thing, put the whole thing together. And he had he's a great visionary, so this is really terrific.
Thank
So
you.
I think this kind of answers the question of the way. And I just want to say, you know, it's takes just as much energy to be positive than to be negative. So I want to put a positive spin on the whole thing and just say that I enjoyed the last movie, the last Terminator. It didn't turn out as well as maybe some expected. And so this is why it was important to do the sixth one to really set the record straight and to do a fantastic job. And that's why it was really good to have Jim Cameron back and to have Linda Hamilton back and to have a great director from Deadpool that is, like I said, a great visionary and to put it together. And I think the movie turned out spectacular. And I think the biggest surprise of this movie was not the visual effects, was not the action and all the stuff which we have plenty of, but the emotions. Because I think that this movie is a real emotional roller coaster ride. And to me, I was really kind of, when I watched the movie, and I end choked up by the way it ended. And it kind of, even though I was there shooting it, but I mean, the way it was edited and the way it was crafted and the whole thing like this was really, I think it would be the big surprise, like in Terminator 2, when people were just amazed at the emotions in the end when the Terminator goes into the molten and, kind of takes his life away and wipes out. And
order you not to go.
Exactly.
The thumbs up. The thumbs up, Arnold. I mean, that's the touch.
But I mean, this movie has the same kind of a quality. I'm not going to spoil the end, and I'm not going to talk about it. Because I have been instructed very carefully by David Allison and his company, and by Paramount and by Fox, that said, don't talk about your character, don't talk about the girls' characters, don't talk about the story of the movie, don't explain why the Terminator has an Austrian accent, and don't talk about anything. So I mean, so there's of
But
course,
still promote it.
which is of course all bogus, right? I mean, I think that everyone, it was easy in the first movie because in the first movie you just can talk and say anything you want. You say, I'm playing a machine and I'm crushing everybody, and blah blah blah, and all this kind of thing. You don't give the story away.
Right.
But here, every little thing that you do say can give the story away, and I think that the people were really upset in the last movie that the studio gave too much of the story away, which I agree with. It was a stupid mistake that they made. And I think they regret that, obviously. And so this time we have to be careful not to give certain story points
Right.
away and to talk too much about it. But I think there's plenty to talk about.
Well, what we
Anyway, it's
can
great to
say-
be here and to be with the Redditors.
What we can say is that he cried like a little baby when he saw the movie for the first time. It's true. He was so touched.
Well,
Are you
He
talking
loves
about
this-
crying?
He
Like
loves this idea, you know
he's-
why? Because he
cries
cries about
so
everything.
He cries all the time, and he's
Tim is a crybaby. I think it's attractive because, I mean,
I never thought
I
you felt
don't
that
know
way.
how to cry as the Terminator, but I now do understand why he has tears coming down his eyes sometimes.
What's
I
wrong
do
with your eyes?
understand,
That's
Exactly. Same. But I mean, the other thing I just want to correct you is because the last time we did the panel discussion, not too long ago, this morning, you said the Terminator doesn't curse.
Oh, yes.
And if you remember that in the first movie, I said, all these different options are coming down, and they say,
That's
"Fuck
it.
you, asshole."
Yeah.
And, so,
That's the option.
So he
He
does
chose.
curse, and except not
That's
as
your
much
program.
as you. Not as much as you, because you said fuck 10 times in this panel discussion, and I won $20, which I still have right here.
Yes.
I have it right here, the $20. I'm going to hold on to that.
Like buying protein shakes.
with the protein
Yeah, we're going to hold you to that.
I will get them afterwards.
They're more effective after you take them after we train. So
I just want to mention there is a trivia question up on the screen right now. We're not going to give away the new movie here, but if you are going to enjoy this one to the fullest extent, you really should watch the first two of the franchise. And this first question is about that first film. How many lines did Arnold Schwarzenegger have in the original Terminator film? So lock in your answers there. Let's see if you know the answer to that question, and we will reveal the results soon. Meanwhile, another question from Hasta la Pizza, baby. And this is for Tim. What can you say about John Connor's role in Dark Fate?
All I'm going to say is that John is in the movie.
No. I can't say that.
Paramount's going to snipe you here.
in a very interesting way. But I don't want to give away. I can't give away the way he's in the movie or what happens, because you got to come to the theater for some reason.
Yeah,
right?
and there was some breaking news in the panel, or that's been reported now across the blogs instantly, of course. Eddie Furlong is returning
Yep.
for this one.
Yes.
So there is some involvement.
That's
we'll leave it at
all
that.
we're going to say about
Okay.
it.
Okay, good question. Deadpool 902 wants to know, asking everybody, in the event of a Skynet-like dystopia, what are two movies you each take with you to watch as the world goes to hell? Ooh. That's a little depressing, but
Apocalypto and Blade Runner.
Nice.
Apocalypse and Predator.
Adam's Family Values and Woman in the Dunes.
Diego's thinking here. What do you think?
Adam's Family.
Adam's Family Values, don't you
Gladiator and The Godfather.
think? So good.
Gladiator and The Godfather, two classics.
Forrest Gump and Barry Gordy's Last Dragon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Zemeckis fan, huh?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
I would say Avatar
Avatar, okay.
and Titanic.
He wants to keep working. He wants to keep working
There's a
here.
curious connection between those two movies.
What a kiss ass.
And The Abyss, if you get it.
Jim's not here, you know.
I'm gonna stick to that.
You don't have to kiss his ass anymore. He's not directing.
And I'm gonna stick to that.
Melancholia.
Oh.
Why not? You know,
Right.
in good company. And Amelie.
Amelie.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Tim mentioned Amelie.
Yeah,
in
you
the
catch
panel.
my Amelie reference?
Yeah, very nice.
I like-
Natalia, do you
I
have
love
any,
that movie.
any
I would say.
Apocalypse movies? Apocalypse Now hasn't been mentioned, but that's...
Apocalypse
Do
movies.
it, Natalia.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Children of Men.
Oh, that's
I
great.
like that one.
And Children of the
You gotta
Corn.
give a
A what?
cultural reference. Come
A
on.
cultural reference.
Give
No.
us.
Say, which another? No, Children of Men.
Gravity.
Roma.
Birds of Passage.
No, Birds of Passage.
Yes,
Oh, that's
yes.
a great
Birds of
movie. It's
Birds of
Colombian.
Passage
Yeah.
is amazing.
You should look that
Fantastic.
one.
It's
Yeah.
an amazing
That
movie.
is a beautiful movie.
We have our trivia answer here. It's locked in now. How many lines did Arnold have in the original film?
17.
Just 17 lines.
Was that hard,
That is amazing.
Arnold? To learn those 17
Is it 17 lines?
17 lines.
I thought it was 27.
Well, we, I mean,
no,
do you want to correct?
Yeah, they may be right. Yeah,
Hopefully
because
we have
I remember so well when I was, had a meeting with Jim Cameron about Terminator 1, and we met about me playing Reese, the other character, the Michael Biehn character, exactly. And then I talked so enthusiastically about Terminator and how the Terminator has to train and how he has to walk and how he has to act and all of this kind of stuff, because I just watched Westworld, Yul Brynner.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw him, how much he act like a machine and how believable he was, because he was an extraordinary actor, of course.
Sure.
And so I kept saying to Jim Cameron, that's exactly what he has to do. He has to be blindfolded. He has to really be able to take, guns apart and put them back together and load magazines and ammunition and all this. And he's then at the end of the lunch, he said to me, he says, I want you to play the Terminator. And I said, no, I'm already set for the Reese character. And he says, no, I want you to play Terminator. I said, come on, I don't want to go backwards with my career. I said, it's like, the guy has 27 lines only. So that's why I remember the 27 lines.
Interesting. So they cut it down
And
even.
they
It was
cut
the
you.
shooting script.
And they
Please
cut
forgive it,
you.
I'm wrong.
They cut your
I
lines.
said, it's like 27 lines only. I said, why don't you just hire, someone else for that and all this. And he says, no, look, I'm going to shoot it a certain way that you will be a hero and you will be the worst villain that I've ever seen. I mean, it's like the baddest villain of all times. And he was absolutely right. He talked me into it. I played the Terminator, and it's exactly what he promised. He delivered.
Career-defining
I was
decision.
going to mention that story earlier, and then I thought, is that something Jim told me, but is not known? Like, I thought maybe it's a secret, and I stopped. That you that you were going to do Reese first.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. You know who was hired was O.J. Simpson.
No.
O.J. Simpson was hired to... Nordberg? He was hired, because I remember Mike Medavoy came up to me at a screening, and he said to me, I want you to play Reese. I want you to meet Jim Cameron and to talk to him about that. And, you get the script tomorrow and all this kind of stuff. And so O.J. Simpson was, I don't know if they actually signed the contract with him or any of that. I don't know the details, but he was the Terminator.
And what did you say to me?
Someone then said, he says, well, Jim actually preferred you more to be the Terminator. And I understand why, because O.J. Simpson doesn't really look like a killing machine or like a killer.
Or he just didn't have the killer look.
Interesting choice of words there.
Yeah, so that was the interesting thing about it, So that's all kind of like in the years later.
Will Smith was originally going to play Natalia's role. At the last
Which I totally understand.
This is incredible. We are breaking some news here. O.J. Simpson would have been the original Terminator had Arnold called the audible there over lunch. All right, this is a question for Gabriel.
We wouldn't be sitting here today.
Did Arnie give you any Terminator acting lessons for the role? Because you are sort of following in the line of Terminator.
Right. Yeah, no, we were training one day, and I asked him, what kind of advice would you have? And he always was just encouraging me to build it do what I wanted to do, and gave me all the confidence I needed to do it my way. But when I pressed a little further, and I was like, really, please, if you could give me anything. And what he said, which was really great, is to just reinforce some of the ideas I had, which is it's effortless. Everything is effortless. Like he was describing how he was telling Jim, it all he could do it blindfolded. You unload mags, you reload mags, the movement, it's always forward, you're always moving forward, and it's always efficient and effortless. And it was just really great to have him say that and have him, as I said, reinforce some of the ideas that I was already generating.
And your Rev 9 Terminator, it's also following, Robert Patrick's
Right.
T-1000. Did you call him at all or get any advice from him?
Well, no, I would love to speak with Robert Patrick. He's I've worked with Robert Rodriguez, and he always says great things about Robert Patrick. And he, of course, he's hired him in many of his things. But I was fortunate enough to hear a podcast one time where Robert was talking about the whole process, and it literally mirrored the exact process I was going through at the time in my auditioning process. And so I kind of weaned some of the what I heard in that podcast, and of course what I watched, and I just studied his performance. I studied Arnold's, and I tried to incorporate the best of both performances, because if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
We did some facial motion capture for it. Occasionally you do a face replacement or particularly difficult stunt. Gabriel did a lot of his stunts, but every once in a while you don't. So we do facial motion captures, and you reference, and so you go, okay, so do the angry Terminator face. Gabe does it. And then now do the hunting Terminator face, and it changes like a microfraction. And then do the because the Terminator really it doesn't feel those emotions unless he wants to, and then he's very human.
You never see the Terminator go, ow, that hurt. Tim, Try Guy Bry wants to know, getting back together after all this time, especially for Arnold and Linda, to work on this project must have been incredibly nostalgic. What was the best part of the reunion, and how can we expect to see that reflected in the film?
For me? That's not for me.
I'm being told it was for Tim, but I guess...
No, it was very nostalgic for me because... it was them. It was all them.
Yeah, let me just tell you, and we talked about that when you told me about that Linda is going to be in the movie. I was really excited about that. And I think there was something really exciting about the fact that, Linda and Jim both said, we're going to go and be part of this, and let's all unite and reunite and come together and work on this project. And it was so amazing when I went on a set the first day and started shooting, and it was a scene with Linda, and to see her now back in that shape. But we're talking about now, 28 years later or something like that? Yeah. I mean, to be back in that shape, and to move the way she moved then, and to be as badass of a girl, and I mean, totally believable, and the way she handled the weapons, the way she did the stunts, and like she says, she maybe is the old school nose, but I've seen her go and endure pain on this movie, and discomfort in this movie way beyond of what I've seen anyone do. And so she has not lost 1 single % over what she was in 1991 in Terminator 2. And to me, that was the most impressive thing, to see her work, to see her be intense. And then I snuck off. I remember, and I asked her trainer, I said, let me ask you, I said, how much training did you guys do? He says, whatever it took. No matter how many hours, she was willing to do it. No matter how many hours we were shooting with guns, she was willing to do it. She was on board for everything. And this is the kind of actress she is, the kind of a work. And then so I was impressed when I saw that, and it was a great pleasure to work with her again, because she's not only a badass, but really deep down inside a golden heart and an absolute sweetheart. So this is really great for me again to work with her and to spend all this time on a set.
It's a love fest. It's a love fest here.
Where's my $20?
Where's my $20?
DJ Jazz has a question for Natalia McKenzie. And Gabriel, how does it feel to play the newest characters in this long-running franchise?
It's really exciting. I mean, it's a little bit of pressure at the beginning. Like you just have all these legends and big names and big production and a big studio, and you just feel like, well, you know, it's a new world for me, but it's really exciting just to come and do my best. And, you know, I think it's really important. I think this movie, it has the ingredients of the first one. We have them back, and we have all that soul of the Terminator, but we also have a new movie with new talent, with Gabriel Luna as the new Terminator. We have a Latina here, and we have, you know, so much diversity, and we have women, and we have Mexico, and, you know, it's just a really relevant movie nowadays.
Kenzie?
Yeah, I mean, I think anticipating going into this, it felt very big and very intimidating, and just like a big meal that you didn't really know where you'd start with. But then as soon as you get to work, I mean, we couldn't have made this movie without the lovely, lovely people that we made it with, because every day was spent with like Tim and with Ken, the DP, with Natalia and Linda and I and Gabriel. Like it was a real support system, and once all of the sort of accessories of this enormous thing are stripped away, you're just at work with your colleagues, and it can either be a really terrible environment because the people suck, or it can be this like really warm, you know, invigorating project that you're all undertaking together, and it was that.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Here's a question from Release Form. What are the primary reasons for the R rating? And I guess maybe...
First of all, let me just right off the top say I am so delighted, because I was sick and tired of last time with the Terminator when the studio decided to make it PG-13 rating, just because they thought there were more dollars in there. Right. I say, guys, you're so stupid. I mean, I know you're leading the studio, but I mean, and I'm not the leader of the studio, but I say it's easy to be smart enough to just say, this is a story that is written, and it's a movie, a franchise that is done and written for R rating, right, and not, you know, kind of Terminator the babysitter type of a thing. That's not what it is. It's a different movie. Avatar, Titanic, all those guys, E.T. You can do those movies. They're great for PG-13, but not Terminator. It's cheating. It's trying to be, you know, kind of greedy, trying to make more money and all this kind of stuff. And it is totally the wrong thing to do. You got to be organic about this stuff. This movie now, and luckily everyone decided now that this is going to be an R-rated movie. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wouldn't be an R-rated movie, to tell you, because I was so angry about them trying to cut out the blood and the gore and all this stuff. Now in this movie we have the gore, we have the blood, we see Gabriel running around. I'm not even going to talk about what I do in the movie, you know, that is going to freak people out, but I'm going to talk about Gabriel running around and just cutting people to shreds, you know, where it literally cuts the two bodies, upper body, lower body, separate, and the lower body just keeps walking. But I mean, it's like the craziest stuff that I've seen in this movie, and I said to myself, yes, we are back. We are back to be badass, and there's blood, and there's gore, there's guts. We can see the heart being ripped up. We see things now that we haven't seen for a while. So let's not pussyfoot around here. So this is the bottom line.
But you know what? If we had said it was R from the beginning, we wouldn't have got as much money to do the movie. So I'm happy that that decision came a little late in the game, and then they decided that. Arnold was so pissed off. He was
The
pissed off.
bottom line is that Tim shot the movie right from the beginning always. He kept, you know, all the stuff, whenever Linda says, fuck you and fuck this and fuck, all the kind of swearing words and all this stuff, which you can't use in a PG-13 movie. He covered himself. He left this all in other people
Linda
that
couldn't
said...
help herself. She just did
She
that.
couldn't,
Yeah. Those weren't in the scripts. Those were
she learned from you very quickly. She learned very, but I mean, so it was really quick. And so then when I watched him shoot the action, you know, I just to myself, I can tell right away, his heart is in the right place. This is going to be an R-rated movie, and the people is going to, because that's what Terminator is. Yeah. This is not like trying to be kind. I mean, this is a world where people travel back from the future to the past to kill human beings and to have machine succeed. That's what what the concept is. not to kind of say, hey, let's negotiate this
Not a
here.
Saturday morning cartoon.
Exactly, that's
yeah.
right, yeah.
Diego, I want to know, and so does Al Quesadilla, could you drink a Terminator in its liquid form?
Could I drink a Terminator?
Maybe this is like a philosophical question or metaphysical, but what would happen if you drank it?
Maybe a bad tequila would taste like that, or Jägermeister
Metallic.
would taste like that. I don't know if I could drink a Terminator
You
in a
can
liquid
drink
form,
tequila.
but I'll
Yeah.
definitely drink tequila. And talking about tequila, something that I liked about this film is it starts off in Mexico City, which is where I'm from. And even though we did not shoot it in Mexico City, we shot it in Madrid for Mexico City. Tim was very worried about it looking authentic and being authentic to the point where he had Natalia and I talk to the department heads and make sure that the street names were accurate, that the cabs, that the public transportation, the spelling, even the accents. I think I did more work
What would they eat for breakfast?
in the accent department.
A lot of time.
Do we get
on the
credits
breakfast
for
food.
that?
Yes. He checks in the
So,
checks
yeah, 'cause
there.
there's a lot of Spanish actors playing Mexicans, and they speak with a lisp, which is a different. It's like how British actors speak English versus American. It's the same kind of
And
difference.
you also helped me with mine. And no, I love that we're in Mexico because, Sarah Connor's always had this really great connection to
With Mexico,
Mexico. She's T1, she's leaving at the end, the storm's coming, and she's heading down south. In Terminator 2, when they need to regroup and they need to come together, they head south to Mexico, and they come back to Cyberdyne and get the job done. So
There's a connection
she's
there for
always
sure.
had this connection. And the fact that we start the movie there, and I come back, of course, as someone who could live in Mexico City and look like someone who could be in Mexico City, that was fantastic. And yes, thank you for your help. You did a great job.
I gotta tell you, though, I'm a little terrified that there's big chunks of the movie in Spanish and that I don't speak Spanish, so I can't
But we taught you some bad
direct
words, Tim.
a
Come
few.
on.
But you can't direct the same way. As all of you will say to your annoyance, I'm picky about the way things are said and the diction and the way the words come out, and to just trust was very hard for me. But I think that comes down to I feel like I cast it well, so you guys did a great job.
Well,
even though I
Also, we have
can't
to
tell
say-
that you did a great job.
We have to say thank you. There's a couple guys on the lot when we were doing looping.
Yeah.
And they were I think they worked like somewhere on the lot doing some other job. Francisco and Manny. So thank you to those guys because they made sure all of our Spanish sounds really good. Sounds Mexican.
Que onda, güero? Let's just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Gabriel, without spoilers, what can you tell us about the Rev 9 series and the previous incarnations of the Rev units?
Well, the Rev 9 is the latest in anti-personnel technology, and
Anti-personnel.
it's just all of the strengths of the T800 and the T1000, and almost none of its weaknesses. It has like a carbon-based alloy endoskeleton, which is black, which looks cooler anyway, and it's lighter and more flexible and has more points of articulation, so it's not limited to human, physiognomy. And beyond that, it's and then of course there's the liquid skin, which could take the form and look like anything I touch. So it's and then beyond that, it can separate and operate remotely as two individual Terminators. It's like a one-man pack of Terminators, which is really exciting. So I think that all of those elements are going to make for a lot of really interesting and awesome fight choreography, which we have to. Tim was amazing about that. We designed these incredible fights, and then he just started taking an axe, chopping away at all the moves that just made no sense other than for fighting, And Bruce Lee always said that anything beyond fighting is just organized despair. It must really just be the moment and what the moment calls for, and that's what he, and our stunt team were able to build, which is these awesome fights. So that's
Getting
what the Rev
revved
9
up
is.
hearing about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Here's a question for everybody. If you had a Terminator-like assassin after you, what would you do?
Find Sarah Connor.
I would call Linda for sure. Linda, help me! That's it.
She hunts Terminator.
Yeah. That's her
Yes.
thing.
Actually,
answer.
McKinsey has a great line in the movie in answer to that question. What do you do when a Rev 9 comes after you? You run. You run. You don't fight it. You run. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want one of those coming
Not
after
sure
you.
what that was going to be.
Here's a question for
But you
Linda.
made
What is your favorite drink? And what is Sarah Connor's favorite drink? So you had a coffee earlier, maybe.
Sarah likes vodka. It's referenced in this film, and That was such a relief. The reference to vodka and potato chips, and I was like, I'm there.
Not a lot of acting for that part. Yeah.
And Linda, I could not live without orange juice.
Me too.
I don't know what it is,
start
but I
every
have
day
to
with it.
start my day with orange
Yep.
juice. Not a lot of it, but I want to cry if there is no orange juice.
I'm with you.
I don't know what it is. It's
It's
like
just-
the hummingbird in me or something that just needs to have the little sugar in the
A little
morning.
nectar.
Yeah.
What was the name of that? Remember when we were at the Four Seasons in Budapest and they had that
It was
drink?
Austrian schnapps. It was Austrian schnapps. You had some of my
I
schnapps.
did. I
I
have
want
for
them.
years.
Had you taste some of my schnapps?
The best. I
Made
want
from
you to
cherry,
taste my
cherry
schnapps.
Yeah.
I love cherry.
Yeah.
Much better than the peach that
Oh
you
yeah.
used to drink.
No, it was really good.
Peach schnapps.
Schnapps all around here. How about Cher Bearisms? Wants to know, this is for Mackenzie, if she's there, and she is. We're live. Reddit Hall R. If you're just joining us, we're having a hilarious time.
Can't they see us?
Were you excited to take on the role, Mackenzie? How does the character differ from Cameron or Love Her?
Oh, cool. Real Halt and Catch Fire specific
Yeah.
question. I was really excited to take on the role. I was definitely scared and expressed a lot of that fear to Tim at various points in the pre-production and production and post-production process.
She was rock solid the whole time.
But Tim, really more than any other experience I've had, believed in me, and I don't mean that in a fluffy way, but like really told me I could do this thing that I thought was impossible, and I didn't really understand why he would cast me and not an actual athlete or warrior to play this role.
Because you wanted to do it.
I
You
know, I wanted
You just
to
had
do
a
it.
couple of moments.
I
of
know,
like,
but it
oh,
was
that's
very intimidating, but I was very excited. And she differs from Cameron in some big ways. She's much healthier. She's got she's really like fitness first, but she's got a real edge to her, like Cameron does.
There you go. Jimbo McKimbo wants to know, how will this movie relate to the others timeline-wise? Also, are the events of Genesis going to be ignored?
Yes.
Yes.
This is real time, so it is 27 years, or it'll be 28 by the time the film comes out, since Judgment Day, since the last film.
Right.
So real time.
Yeah, which is still 10 years till 2029, which is when all this is supposed to go down. I was actually thinking, August 29th,
August
1997. August 29th, 1997. It was supposed to be Judgment Day. Arnold, where were you on that day? Do you remember? Did you have a party?
I was just recuperating from a heart surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember 1997. But no matter where I was, I obviously had a good time.
Yeah.
Because I always have a good time. No matter where I'm. It doesn't matter if I'm in Budapest filming Terminator 6, or if I'm in Austria, if I'm here in the United States, I always have a great time. And I always, I wouldn't do it if I wouldn't have a good time, because to me, you have one shot in life. And if you don't have a good time, it's a waste. And so even if you work, I think that on the set, for instance, on Terminator 6, we all had a good time. And luckily, because we had a good director that was very inclusive, and they brought everyone in, let everyone express how they see the part and how they want to act it out into a certain scene and all this stuff. And then when we go on the road and to promote the film, hopefully everyone has a good time. I always have a great time. I have a great time right now sitting here and talking to the Redditors and answering the questions. Someone else maybe looks at it as, oh my God, why do I have to do that? To me, it is great, because I see that you cannot have a movie like this and the world to know about this movie existence, and that the movie is coming out on November 1st.
That's right.
So the only way you do that is by communicating, by doing as many interviews as you can do, talking to the press, having panel discussions like this, just like promoting fitness or promoting anything else, or when you're in politics to go and promote your policies and stuff like that. You want to bring everyone in, but the only way that people really enjoy kind of following you is if they see you having a good time, and if you're positive and you just move forward. So
Well,
that's
we're
what it's
having a
about.
great time here, and
Fantastic.
it's flying by. We have 5 minutes
That's why
left.
we're going to dance. You're right. And
Everybody, let's dance.
Dan.
We got 5 minutes left, so let's get a few more questions in rapid fire here. Does a retired Terminator work as an exterminator? I guess this is a silly
no.
question. No, very
Next
good.
question.
Next question. Will Dark Fate capture the look and feel of the Terminator and T2? I think we've pretty much answered that one. Yes, this is a return to form, right? following that
The
one.
filming style is a gritty, more independent movie meets big action movie, I think. So it's got a new look and feel because it takes place in rural Mexico and Mexico City and southern United States.
There you go. Would they ever make a Terminator cyborg that is a different animal than human, like a sperm whale T-1000 unit?
Discriminator.
The Terminator. I think that's what we're going for here.
It's like he knows the plot to Terminator 7. How did he find that out?
Yeah, that's supposed to be in the wraps. Did you ever consider having Arnold play every single role?
No, but I bet Arnold did.
That was so below the belt. I cannot even believe that you're giving away my personality.
Eddie Murphy. This is.
That's funny.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy did that, right?
Yeah, that's
They
right,
played like 8 or 10 characters in Coming to America. whatever it was, right?
Hercules.
Yeah.
What was your favorite stunt to film in T2? And this is a lot of you did stunts in this
Yeah.
movie, right? Maybe quickly we can go down the line here. And
There was a lot of some water work that was really fun.
yeah, I saw that in the footage there.
Yeah, it's really
I
great.
don't know that
The
much.
car chase was cool too.
But he says T2.
Oh, and to say
In
T2?
T2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Who
for
cares
Arnold.
about that?
You're right.
Yeah, forget about T2.
An Arnold movie.
That's
We're
28
talking
years
about
old.
Arnold.
This is.
Go ahead, Gabe.
No, that
What was your favorite one?
the water work with the British Special Forces dive team we had and all those guys.
Underwater?
Special Forces dive
Underwater
team.
combat. It's fun.
What do you say, Mac?
The Hummer flying through the night sky,
Yeah, she was
climbing and doing
At 6
parachute
a.m. in the
stuff.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was fun and fun.
cars.
That
It was
good.
fun.
I think the most difficult was obviously this. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the fight scenes on the airplane. Because whenever you have a problem in a plane, then they have sometimes zero gravity, so you have to calculate that, and it becomes then very complicated to film this kind of stuff. And so there were some really crazy scenes and crazy stuff that we had to do.
Yeah.
That involved a lot of kind of cables and harnesses and stuff like that. And that takes a lot of discipline to do that because it takes hours and hours and hours and do it over and over and over again. So you get banged up a little bit, and which is okay. That's part of the job.
Imagine you take like 3 buses and strap them together and then put them on 360-degree gimbal. That was the interior of this plane. The sequence is like a technical mind fuck because we're going in and out of zero gravity, and it's pretty awesome. The challenge was make the best action scene inside of a crashing plane you've ever.
And to make it
It's every
unique.
film. Yes.
Because that was the key thing. I think that everything that is written, or most of the action scenes that are written in this film, are very unique and that we haven't seen before. So this is one of the great things about this, that it's so much new stuff that will be just like the 1991 Terminator, where people will copy that movie. And they have copied that movie with visual effects and stunts and action, and they will do the same thing with this film.
This is blazing new trails here. Well, why talk about stunts? Why talk about stunts? Let's just watch some of the stunts in action. We have right now for you to wrap this up. We're done with the AMA. Thank you to our esteemed panel here.
Does your mini pony whiskey make a heroic
Yeah, is whiskey in there?
appearance? Yeah, let's go. Arnold, everyone wants to know about the little
The pony.
The little pony, my little pony's at home. And he just last month got into eating my burned out cigars. He got into eating tobacco, and I have no idea why that is. But I have this miniature pony that's this tall.
Yeah.
And she's hilarious, and so she's out there in the
She's
field.
got to make an appearance in
Oh
the
yeah, and
next
she
one.
walks through the house. She owns the house, and she eats the dog's food and everything like that. So she's very funny.
I've seen the footage.
That was the strangest experience on the whole movie for me. Was you go over and talk to Arnold about the movie, and you don't expect a miniature pony at people's house. But we're out back in Arnold, we're talking about the movie, and this little miniature pony walks through. And nobody comments on it, but me takes a drink out of the pool and then strolls back through the meeting. And nobody thinks it's anything but normal. But
It's normal when you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's just
it
part
is.
of
Totally normal.
Totally normal.
totally
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we have a very exclusive sneak peek for you guys right now, a behind-the-scenes featurette to wrap this up from Hall R. Thanks again to the cast and
Thank you.
Tim here.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for all your questions. Enjoy the featurette. Thanks, Reddit. We'll see you next time. November 1st.
last night, I was standing there looking at a monitor. On one camera was Linda Hamilton, and on another camera was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I thought, holy fuck, I'm making a Terminator movie.
It's recaptured that tone. It's R-rated, it's grim, it's gritty, it's fast, it's intense.
Work hard and play hard, and this is what this movie was all about.
Tim has this fresh vision, and like what he did in Deadpool, his action is huge.
It's just a fast, white-knuckle ride. You better watch your ass.
I hunt Terminators. You metal motherfucker.
It follows tonally in the footsteps of T1 and T2. That adrenaline rush feeling, that sense of terror.
In this film, the action is 10 times bigger. It's like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit.
This film is relentless. It just does not stop. Just fucking insane.